Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody. Today we are, as you know, we are celebrating Diwali, so happy Diwali to you all. Diwali or Deepawali, a festival of lights, and we have many historical events associated with Krishna's pastimes connected with this festival. This is a festival associated with Krishna's pastimes. There's also metaphorical significance as well in terms of how we apply that day to day in our lives. And so I will speak of three different pastimes related to Krishna's activities, and then we'll also talk a bit about how we can apply this as a metaphor in our day-to-day lives. So three historical events described in the Shastras. There are more, but three that I will focus on today associated with Diwali are the killing of Narakasura, the return of Ram to Ayodhya after his 14-year exile, and rescuing Sita. Yes, very good, thank you. Mustn't forget Princess Sita. And the Damodar Leela, that is the pastime where Krishna is bound with ropes by Mother Yasoda. We will begin with Ram. That is the more ancient event, although the Narakasura event also has associations that go back even further, prior to the appearance of Ram. But we will stay with the Ram Leela. Shri Ramachandra Raghupati, that is the lord of the Raghu dynasty, the solar dynasty, in which he made his appearance, was banished to Dandak Aranya, the Dandak forest, for 14 years due to some palace intrigue. Externally, it is due to palace intrigue. Of course, Ramachandra has appeared with a specific mission. That is, prior to his appearance on earth, the Devas, the demigods, they have raised an alarm. Bhumi Devi has raised an alarm. There is a great Rakshasa, Ravana. He is in fact the son of a Brahmana and a Rakshashi. There was a Rishi performing great austerities, and a Rakshashi became attracted to him, a handsome Rishi. And she thought she would like to be his consort, and understandably she assumed that he would not accept her as a Rakshashi, so she disguised herself, she changed her form, shape-shifted to become a beautiful Apsara, and she was able to entice this Rishi and had a child by him. Had in fact not two but three children by him, and they became very, very powerful Rakshasas. Now they are not just the sons of Rakshasas, but they are the sons of a great Rishi who's performed great austerity, controlled his senses, focused his energies, and so his progeny are also very, very powerful. This Rishi was a son of Brahma, or thereabouts, maybe a grandson. So a very powerful Rishi had very powerful children. Kumbhakarna, Ravana, and Vibhishana. Of course, they performed great austerities, particularly Kumbhakarna and Ravana. They performed great austerities, and their austerities were so great that the universe became choked. and Brahmaji had to go down to stop them. And the only way he could stop them in their austerity was by giving them boons. So basically they hold the universe to ransom. Unless they get their boons, they will not stop their austerity, which has caused a ecological disturbance. And so Brahma, he is obliged. Ravana, he asks for the powers that he will not be able to killed by any Deva, or Asura, or Rakshasa, or Siddha, or Charna, or Gandharva, or Vidyara. These are all different varieties of humanoid, human-like entities. Higher celestials, demons as well, and he's asking for a boon from Brahma that none of them will have any power against him. He does not ask for power against humans. He thinks those humans are so pitiful, so puny and impotent. He will not, it's a insult to him to ask for a boon against humans. And so he asks Brahma for power against everything, all different varieties of human species, animals as well, but humans and monkeys, who's afraid of them? And so he does not cover himself in in that area, in that department. And so Brahma says, Tatashtu, very reluctantly, yes, you will have that power. And when it comes to his brother's turn to ask for boons, he also has great ambition to control and dominate the universe. The Devas are very, very afraid of these brothers. And so after hearing already what Ravana has asked for, Vak. Who is Vak? Vak, she is the goddess of speech. She decides to play with Ravana's brother's tongue. So when he says, I can't remember the Sanskrit, can I have great power? She plays with his tongue and he says, can I have great sleep? Tatashtu, so be it, says Brahma. Kumbhakarna goes to sleep. And so yes, he was also very, very powerful, but tricked by the demigods. After already Ravana has asked for terrible powers, should this one also have great powers, the whole universe will be cast to ruin. So may I have great sleep. And he sleeps. Ravana subjugates and dominates the universe, not just the earth. He takes the heavens as well. And when his son Indrajit, he is sent to battle to fight against Indra and defeats him. And he is celebrated as Indrajit, the defeater, the conqueror of Indra. So the universe was in a very difficult place. You think the current elections are distressing? Some anxiety there. Oh no, what's going to happen to the world? It's nothing on what was happening all this time ago when Ravana achieved dominance over the universe. And so the Devas, they went to Vishnu, Kirdakashayi Vishnu. That is Vishnu who rests at the Kir Sagara, sweet rice ocean, milk ocean. That's how we generally translate it. Condensed milk, something. Kir Sagara. Some of us are thinking, Kir Sagara, really? Milk ocean, how's that possible? Wouldn't the milk go off after some time? Is it not amazing that here on Earth we have a salt water ocean? It's a water ocean, and water also goes off. If it's stagnates. But then you put some salt, it preserves. Krishna has his ways of arranging things. The scientists, they look through their telescopes, they see, as described in the Bhagavatam, there are planets in our galaxy, in our solar system, planets where they have oceans of oil. Did you know it? Yeah. Oceans of oil, oceans of gas. Scientists are able to observe with their telescopes. But the rishis, they knew this long time before, because it's there in the Bhagavatam. Oceans, planets with oceans of oil, planets with oceans of gas, planets with oceans of milk. And that is where Narayana, Vishnu, resides in this universe. He has different places of residence. That is one of his places where Vishnu, the maintainer, resides. In different functions, he has different places or locales. So Vishnu, the maintainer, he resides at the Kirshagara. Now you know his address? Can go and visit. No, we don't know how to get there. We don't have the transport, but the Devas, they do. They know the address. They go to Kirshagara and report. There is a great catastrophe that has befallen the universe. It has been taken over by a great Rakshasa named Ravana. Please come and help us. He has great boons. He cannot be, he is invincible against Devas and Asuras and Vidyadharas and Gandharvas and Chanaras and so on and so forth. But he's not invincible against humans. Vishnu says, don't worry, very shortly I will appear on earth in a human family in the Raghu dynasty, in the Surya Vamsa, the line of kings descended from the sun, Surya. And he does. He never comes alone. He always comes with his associates. And so along with him, Shesh or Balaram has also appeared as his younger brother, Lakshman. And then other associates, they have also come as Bharat and Satrughna. So 4 brothers all appeared in the Surya Vamsa as sons of Dasarath and his different queens. Yes, Dasarath has 3 queens. Can some of our children tell us the names of the queens of Dasarath? Kaushalya, Kaikeyi, and Sumitra. I asked for children, but adults are very enthusiastic. We are all children at heart. So initially, so Dasarath has 3 queens, but they're unable to give him children. That's a problem. So he asks the Vashishta Rishi to perform yagya, to perform sacrifice, and that will allow him or enable him to have the family to have children. And so this Putra Dhana Yagya is performed, and in performing that sacrifice, then they generate some payasam, some kheer. There it is again. They, from the yagya shrestha, there is some kheer, some prasad from the yagya, and Vashishta gives that to Dasarath and says, give it to your favorite queen, and she will give you a child. And Dasarath is he has difficulty. He has 3 queens, and now he has to choose one favorite queen amongst them. It's very difficult. How do you make that choice? People know who his favorite queen is. It's his youngest queen, Kaikeyi. But then there is the senior queen, the Maharani. She also has to be respected. She cannot be disrespected. So junior queen, Kaikeyi, youngest, and first queen. Maharani Kaushalya, she must be respected as well. So he divides the kheer into two portions. Half for Maharani Kaushalya, half for Kaikeyi. Sumitra, she didn't get any. And so the other queens, they're like sisters, so they have affection for each other. Kaushalya says to Sumitra, here, have half of my portion. You will also have a child. And it just so happens Kaikeyi, she also thinks, oh, I want to share with Sumitra. So she says, have half of my portion. You should also have a child. And so, three queens now have the kheer. Kaikeyi becomes pregnant and has a child, Ram. Sorry, Kaushalya becomes pregnant, has a child, Ram. Kaikeyi becomes pregnant and has a child, Bharat. Sumitra, she becomes pregnant and has two children, Lakshman and Satrugna. Thank you. I'm reading your lips, and so I don't have to think. I can just get all the answers from you. Lakshman, he becomes the dear associate and friend of Ram, and Satrugna becomes the very dear, affectionate assistant and associate of Bharat. They all have great affection for one another. And when Dasarath becomes elderly, he decides it is time to retire and bequeath the kingdom to his eldest son, most qualified son, loved and respected by all the citizens, Sri Ram. And he announces the coronation to happen the very next day. A very quick decision. He sees there is an auspicious date coming, the Poshya asterism. And he thinks this will be a very good time to have this coronation. And so he announces it. Everyone is very happy. Very, very happy. All except for whom? Manthara. Very good. Kaikeyi is also happy initially. Very happy, because for her Ram is also like her son. But Manthara, a hunchbacked maidservant of Kaikeyi, she thinks this is not good. Dasarath will die. He's elderly. And then Ram will reign as king. And Kaikeyi will fall out of favor. Kaushalya will be prominent. Kaikeyi will lose her prominence. She is the favored queen. And my position as the servant of the favored queen will disappear. And that will be calamitous for me. I must maintain my power as the maidservant of the favored queen. Well, the queen or queen mother. And so she goes to the palace, to the room of Kaikeyi, and pollutes her mind. Why are you celebrating Ram's coronation? You will be nothing once Dasarath passes away and Ram has all the power in him, vested in himself. Kaushalya will be prominent and you will be nothing. Kaikeyi says, this is nonsense. Ram treats me just like his own mother. What you're saying is wrong. And Manthara, little by little, works at the mind of Kaikeyi, and she becomes bewildered. And she becomes very worried. What are we to do? I'm going to be destroyed. I'm going to be lost. I'll be forgotten. She's very, very worried. And Manthara says, there is something you can do. Remember those boons that the king offered you all those years ago. You nursed and protected him on the battlefield, and he said, Kaikeyi, I am most grateful to you. Ask of me any boon, 3 boons. I will give you whatever you want. And at that time, Kaikeyi said, I don't need anything. I'm satisfied and happy. But I can I will save them. I will ask you later, sometime in the future. Mantra said, now is the time to use those boons. Ask that that Bharat, your son, be crowned king. Ask that Ram be banished to the forest. And ask that he stay there for 14 years. Dasarath, he hears this request of his favored queen and he just can't understand what has happened to you. Why do you ask this? Why do you speak this way? He is broken-hearted. But he is such a upholder of dharma. He will not break his word. He made those commitments to Kaikeyi. He said, anything you ask me, I will give you. Now she's asking. He won't break his word. And so, although it breaks his heart and eventually kills him, he has Ram called to Kaikeyi's palace. He can't get up even. And he's actually not able to speak. He's not able to make eye contact with Ram. He's so ashamed of what's happening. And Kaikeyi speaks for him. Your father is unable to speak, but what he wants to say is this: Bharat will be crowned king. You will be banished to the forest. You'll go there for 14 years. And Ram, like his father, he is also a great upholder of dharma. So there is no show of distress in his face. He said, it is a great honor for me to uphold my father's word. For a son to be able to do this, it is a privilege. I have this privilege and I take it. I take this responsibility gladly. And so he took off his royal clothes. He was actually dressed for the coronation. And he went to see his wife Sita. She entered the room and she was so excited. My lord, today is the day of your coronation. Dearest Sita, I have come to tell you that I am going to the forest for 14 years. When he told her all that had happened, she insisted, I will come with you. No, you will not come with me. You are a princess. Your place is in the palace. She said, I am a wife. My place is with my husband. Interesting, these discussions. She says, I have learned Dharma from my parents. And what I know from my parents is that the place for a wife is with her husband. You will not leave me here. And he said, but it's so dangerous in the forest. There are wild beasts, wild animals. It is a hellish condition that you will have to endure. And she said, with you, hell will be like heaven. And without you, heaven is like hell. Ram said, okay, very well. You will come with me. How wonderful. Ram will be accompanied by Sita. Lakshman, he hears this and I will come as well. Ram says, no. You must stay here and help Bharat to rule the kingdom. Lakshman is insistent. Actually, he wants to, initially his response is, this is unjust what our father has said. It is not dharma. The It is a dharma, correct. You are the rightful heir, the rightful ruler. You must be crowned on the throne. Even our father cannot stop this, because it is the rule, the law. Lakshman said, I will have you coronated myself. And if anyone comes to stop it, whether they be Indra or our own father, I will cut them down with my sword. A little bit fiery, Lakshman. Ram said, Lakshman, do not speak that way. But on Lakshman's insistence, Ram agrees he will also go with him to the forest. And so they set off. And as they leave Ayodhya, the citizens are broken-hearted. And they decide, we will also go to the forest with you. So just as Sita insisted on accompanying Ram and Lakshman insisted on accompanying Ram, all the Ayodhya residents, they also insist. And so Ram is leaving the city and he's trying to tell them, go back to your homes, stay, Bharat will rule you, he will rule you wisely, he will be just. They won't go home. They follow Ram to the forest, and so he's going into exile with thousands and thousands of people. What kind of exile is that? The city has become a ghost town. Bharat will rule no one, because no one's left there. They walk quite far from the city until they come to a river, and as evening falls, they set camp by the river, sleeping on the ground. The citizens are watching this. They are angry. They're crying, our king, our prince, Ram. Now he sleeps on the ground because of this. They will blame somebody. This king who's too attached to his wives. He's lost all reason. He's become adharmi. And so Ram sleeps. The citizens slowly, they fall asleep as well. And early in the morning, Ram wakes up Sita, says, we have to go. Before all the citizens wake up, we have to leave. And so they get a boat ride across the river, and they go far away before the citizens can even wake up, so that Ram can enact that exile properly. His father, Dasarath, he dies of grief. Bharat, he comes home and his father is dead. His brother's been exiled. He's been away, Dasarath, during all of this. He's visiting his grandparents. He can't believe what has happened. Ram has been exiled. He decides that he'll bring Ram back. He actually goes out with a delegation to try to bring Ram back to Ayodhya. Ram says, no, this is not Dharma. My Dharma is to obey the king and stay in exile. Your Dharma is to rule. And so Bharat takes Ram's shoes and he rules as a viceroy. Puts Ram's shoes on the throne, and he rules as a representative of Ram, the king. So many wonderful adventures happen. 14 years pass very quickly, actually. It's a very joyful time for Ram, Sita, and Lakshman. In the 14th year, there are all kinds of significant events that are changed. They change the course of those 13 years that have gone before. They have encounters with Rakshasas, beginning with Surpanaka, the sister of Ravana, then Kar and Dushana. 30,000 Rakshasas, is it? They bring to fight Ram at Janastan. Ram defeats them all. Eventually, Sita is kidnapped by Ravana, taken to Lanka, and Ram, he must form an alliance with Sugriva, Hanuman, and the Vanaras. Monkey. Sugriva is a monkey king, a Vanara king. Not exactly monkey, like half man, half monkey, half human, half monkey. They form an alliance and eventually they march on Lanka. Ravana is defeated, destroyed. His youngest brother, Vibhishana, who is a pious soul, in fact, and a devotee, a bhakta of Ram, he is installed as king. And Ram uses the Pushpak Vimana, that is the aerial chariot, the airplane, private plane of Ravana, to return to Ayodhya. We think we are sophisticated. The Wright brothers, the first manned flight, that we have aviation technology. But the Vedas, they speak of Vimanas, they speak of aeroplanes, again, from millions of years ago. Ravana's personal plane was called Pushpak Viman. He stole it. He's a demon after all. He stole it from Kuvera. He stole Kuvera's plane and was using it himself for his transport. So after Ravana's defeat, then that 14-year period was just coming to an end at the same time. Ravana is defeated, Sita is rescued, and at the same time the 14-year exile period has come to an end. And so rather than walking all the way back to Ayodhya, as they had, that's the way they had gone from Ayodhya to Lanka, they had walked the whole way. Rather than walking, their exile is anyway finished. Let's use Ravana's plane. And so they fly back from Ayodhya to, from Lanka to Ayodhya in Ravana's personal, well, Kuvera's plane actually, personal plane called Pushpak Vimana. Hanuman goes ahead. We know Hanuman can fly. He takes mighty leaps. He himself didn't know it before his first leap to Lanka. But Jambavan, he told him, actually you have much greater power than you are aware of. You have received so many boons. But by the arrangement of Lord Brahma, you were made to forget those powers because you were still too young. You didn't know how to use them well. Now that you are older and wiser, it is time for you to become aware of your powers. You can jump to Lanka. And so Hanuman, he goes ahead of the Pushpak Viman to tell the residents of Ayodhya, Ram is returning. Ram is coming. He's coming home. And the Ayodhya Vasis, they are very, very excited. Finally, after 14 years, our Lord Ram, he will be returning home to Ayodhya with Sita, with Lakshman. And so they quickly, like if you have a guest come into your home, you want to clean everything to make it very nice to receive them. This isn't just a guest, it's their king returning to their city. Their king whom they love so much, whom they miss so much. And so they immediately start to wash the entire city, to decorate the city with flags and water pots and banana trees. These are all very auspicious, yeah? Banana trees and water pots filled with water, pots of grains, and banners. So they decorate the city very, very beautifully. And they also decorate the city with lamps. And every home, every rooftop, every window, every palace gateway, lamps are placed there. They are lit to welcome Ram back to Ayodhya. And so Diwali, we remember Ram's return to Ayodhya, his welcome back to Ayodhya, and so we also decorate our homes and our temples and other important places to remember Ram's welcome return to Ayodhya after being victorious over Ravana. Okay, that's one story. I promised you 3. The second Diwali story relates to Narakasura, also called Bhaumasura. Bhauma means of the earth. This is a demon of the earth. How so? Yes. Very good. Because he is the son of the earth goddess, Bhumi, who is the father. Pralhad. Very good. So, years and years, even before the appearance of Ram, in a previous birth, Ravana, he had been a demon, another demon, named, well, Ravana and Kumbhakarna, or they were the brothers Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. And so they had caused the earth to become imbalanced and to fall into the Garbha ocean, another ocean. This is a universal ocean. The Vedas, they describe that the universes, they are like anda, egg. The universe is shaped like an egg, and there are thousands and thousands of universes shaped like eggs. They are also described as Garbha, as like a womb. So that egg-shaped universe, it is half filled with water. That is the Garbha ocean, Garbhodak. Vishnu also lies on that ocean. He is called Garbhodaka Shayi. Garbhodaka Shayi Vishnu. Vishnu lying in the womb of the universe. So the Garbha ocean, just as a mother when she carries a child, there is a fluid there that the child lies in. So Vishnu, he's lying in this fluid of the universal womb or egg. And so the earth, it is fallen into that Garbha ocean. Fallen down deep, fallen far. And apparently that ocean, it is somewhat of a universal, well, the depth of that ocean, it is somewhat of a universal dumping, garbage dumping area. So think, yeah, there's, what do they call it, space waste? Things fall in there. And so at the bottom of that ocean, there's all kinds of waste. And so the earth, she is fallen to the bottom of that ocean. She needs to be rescued. And Vishnu, he makes an appearance. He takes a suitable form in order to go down and dig deep amidst all of that universal junk, garbage. Just like if, yeah, sometimes they clean out Sydney Harbour and they pull up all kinds of junk, garbage from the bottom of the harbour. And so the bottom of the universe, yeah, there's a lot of junk down there. Vishnu has to go down. Someone's got to go down and find the earth who's fallen amidst all of that junk. Who's going to do it? Vishnu. He decides he will go down to rescue the earth. And he therefore takes the form of a boar. Why? Because boars, they are very good at getting down in the mud, nuzzling around. He doesn't mind. So, yeah, the boar doesn't mind. So they get down with the tusk and dig around. And so Vishnu, he takes that form of a boar. And he is celebrated as Varahadev. How he appears is most wonderful. But that's another story. He dives deep into the ocean. He nuzzles around. Searches at the bottom of the Garbha ocean. And he finds there Goddess Earth. He lifts her up on her tusks and rises out of the sea, out of the Garbha ocean. Bhumi, Goddess Bhumi. She looks so beautiful on Varahadev's tusk. And she feels so grateful. Vishnu has saved me, my hero. Vishnu has rescued a damsel in distress. Yeah, we think of the earth as unconscious clump of matter to be exploited. In the Vedas, she is a goddess. She's a personality. She has feelings. And so when she has been drowned in the bottom of the Garbha ocean, and Vishnu rescues her, she feels great gratitude, affection. She falls in love with Varahadev. My hero has rescued me. She falls in love with him and takes shelter of him. And so Varahadev, he accepts her as his consort. You can visit temples in India where they worship Varahadev with Bhumi. Varaha Bhumi. Bhumi Varaha Mandir. Where Varaha is worshipped with his consort, the goddess Earth. They have a child. And this child is called Bhoma or Narak. Unfortunately, this child falls into bad company. In all of these stories, there are so many things for us to learn. Keep good association. He falls into bad association, and he develops a very envious mentality. He develops an abusive mentality. He has great power. He is the son of Vishnu, Varaha, and the son of the earth. He has incredible power, but he uses it not for good, but for his own domination, his own power. He goes about the earth defeating rulers, defeating kings, not just the earth, the universe. Defeating kings and binding them up as prisoners, taking them back to his palace, back to his fortress. Not for any reason other than that he can. He likes it. Just, look at all these kings that I've imprisoned. Makes him feel powerful. And he kidnaps from all around the earth beautiful princesses to keep them as his own wives. So he is only interested in himself. He is a tyrannical ruler. He's also very fearful because he does so much bad to others, then he's always concerned that others will try to fight him, to attack him. So he creates, Bhagavatam describes, he creates a fortified city. His fortifications, according to the Bhagavatam, include electric currents. So he has like electric fences protecting his city. Yes, another technology that we think is a modern invention. Tesla, electricity. The Bhagavatam says that Narakasura, he had electric fences around his city. He also had, yes, hold your suspense here, robots protecting his city as well. Read the Bhagavatam, you'll find that. Electric fences and robot fortifications to protect his city. And one day, Krishna is in Dwaraka and he receives an ambassador from... He's representing all of these thousands of kings that have been imprisoned by Narak Asura. Please, Krishna, come and rescue us. Please come and free us. We have been imprisoned by this powerful demoniac personality, Narakasura, also called Bhaumasura. Please come and free us. So Krishna, he decided, okay, I will, he told the ambassador, I will go there. I won't take an army. I don't want to unnecessarily waste any human lives in a great battle. I will just go there myself. I will take my queen Satyabhama with me. We will ride on Garuda and we will defeat Narakasura, and we will rescue all of those that he has imprisoned. And so that's what he does. He invites Satyabhama. Would you like to come with me for a little trip on Garuda? We are going to the kingdom of Narak Asura. She's happy to go with him anywhere, sure. So she goes with him. She rides on the back of Garuda along with Krishna. Yes, they ride, they fly Garuda. Because they are with Garuda, they can go over all of the electric fences, and they can navigate the robots as well. They arrive there at Narakasura's palace and engage with him. Now Krishna, he's going to kill Narakasura, but he has a purpose why he has brought Satyabhama. So he's engaging with Narakasura and he looks to Satyabhama. Is it okay? All good. She says, yes, it's okay. And then he kills Narakasura. Why does he need Satyabhama's permission? Because she is Bhumi. Bhudevi. So Bhudevi is one of the consorts of Narayana. Shri, Bhu and Nila. Satyabhama is the expansion of Bhu. She is, and the earth goddess is also an expansion of Bhudevi. And so before killing Bhaumasura, he needs Satyabhama's permission. You agree to this? She agrees. He kills Bhaumasura and frees all of those imprisoned kings. They are skinny. They have been locked up. They have not been fed properly. They are skinny. They are unhealthy. But they are free. They celebrate. They glorify Krishna. Jai, Jai. The demigods shower flowers. They sound their musical instruments. The citizens are joyful. They decorate the city with lamps. Krishna has killed Narakasura. This great darkness that hung over this land for so long has been eliminated, and now the Krishna sun, the light, has shone forth, and symbolizing that, they decorate their city as well with lamps. Now, what about those princesses? Krishna released them. He said, you can go, you are free now to return to your homes. 16,100 of them. You are free. Return to your homes. Don't worry for Bhaumasura any longer. He has been killed by me. And they looked at Krishna and said, Krishna, what homes can we return to? We have been taken away from our homes by this demon. We have been kept in his palace all this time. Who will take us now? Who will have us? Where is there for us to go? We have nowhere to go. We have no home. And they said, Krishna, will you marry us? Will you accept us? And Krishna said, sure, I will marry you all. And so Krishna married 16,100 princesses that he had rescued from Bhaumasura. They had nowhere else to go. They took shelter of Krishna, and he gave them his kind, loving protection. How wonderful is Krishna? He is the friend of the poor, the friend of the destitute, the friend of those who have been cast out and will not be accepted or taken by anyone. Krishna is ready to give his full protection, his love, his mercy. For each queen he provided a wonderful palace. They had 10 children as well. Okay, 2 Diwali stories. We are already at time. The third is the binding of Krishna's belly with ropes. He is known as Damo Udara. That is, he whose belly is bound. Bound belly. An interesting name, is it not? Bound belly. It is interesting because this is Krishna. How can his belly be bound? Who can bind him? Who can tie him up? Only his loving devotee. And so it was Diwali morning, 5,000 years ago. Yasoda Maya, she was celebrating Diwali. She had decorated herself nicely. She was wearing new clothes. Specifically, Bhagavatam says she was wearing yellow clothes because it was Diwali, festival of lamps. She said, let me wear. She specifically dressed in yellow clothes. Who's dressed in yellow clothes today? I also forgot to wear a yellow kurta for Diwali. Yasoda Maya, she dressed in yellow clothes for Diwali. She decorated her hair with flowers. She was nursing Krishna. And then the milk started to boil over. She put Krishna down to attend to the milk. Krishna got angry. The milk is more important than me. He's thought, my mother has stopped caring for me. She's giving all her attention to the milk. So he decided to play some pranks to get her attention. He went to the pantry, took a stone and broke the pots of yogurt and butter, made a mess, fed the butter and yogurt to the monkeys. Some say he was making up, repaying the debt made by Ram. Ram, who engaged these monkeys in fighting a war for him against Ravana to get Sita back. Krishna paid the debt back by feeding them butter. Mother Yasoda, she was very entertained by Krishna's his pranks, but felt he should also be punished. So she decided to tie him up, and we are celebrating that all month. Happy Diwali! Shri Shri Radha Gopinath ki! Shri Sitaram ki! Dwarkadisha ki! Damodar ki! Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.